Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of RevOps Demos That Don't Suck. My name is Matthew Baum, CEO and co-founder of RevOps Co-op, a community of now 9,000 plus RevOps folks from all across the globe. And today we are doing things a little bit different with one of our partners, Go Nimbly. I am here with Jen Igartois. She'll let me know pronounce that correctly because we just talked about this before going on recording here. Who is the CEO of Go Nimbly. Go Nimbly is one of the leading RevOps services firms that is out there. But before I tell you more about Jen and kind of her background and also Go Nimbly, I'm just going to turn it over to her to kind of do herself justice and the company justice. So Jen, hello, welcome, and why don't you give us a quick kind of lowdown on you and Go Nimbly before I start to pepper you with questions.
Yeah, totally. And also you nailed my last name. So well done. It's a hard one. It's from the Basque country. So like not even Latin based. So it's hard even for Spaniards. So well done.
I appreciate that.
So yeah, like you said, I'm the CEO of Go Nimbly, and I started out my career probably very similar to all the folks that are in this RevOps community. I started as a specialist. So I was really deeply embedded in marketing automation. So I was an Eloqua consultant and a Marketo consultant, and really was working in that top of funnel space. And I quickly realized that anything that I did in that space was affecting sales and was affecting Salesforce and all these other tools. And that's really what piqued my interest early in my career. Like, why is there, such a silo between these two technologies and these two teams? And then also, why do sales and marketing teams have so much pain and so much misalignment when ultimately they're trying to do the same thing? And that kind of interest in that space of sales marketing alignment and later CS and farther down the funnel was what spurred us starting Go Nimbly. And it was before RevOps was a term, and our original tagline was unifying the business stack. So we were really talking about how are we getting these systems to talk to each other? How are we breaking down these data and technology silos? And then revenue operations started to become a term, and we were the first company, the first agency to call ourselves a RevOps agency. And so we've been doing this not quite 10 years, but we're getting there. And we've built a really amazing team. We're almost 50 employees around the US and Latin America. Just super proud of what we've been able to build. And I think our logos say it all. The companies that we work with, Twilio, Zendesk, BrainPop, Watershed, these really, really incredible SaaS companies that we all look up to are the core of our clients.
Yeah. That's awesome. And so were you around at the very beginning of Go Nimbly?
Yeah, that's right. My first client was Twilio. That's how I quit my job. I started at Blue Wolf, which was the first Salesforce partner. And I was the first hire for their marketing automation practice. And I think you quickly kind of realize, and I say this to all my employees, it's absolutely fine. Consulting, it's not typically where you spend your entire career. Just you realize how much someone's billing and you have ideas of how to run your own thing. So quit my job, started my own thing with Twilio. My second client was Zendesk. So like right off the bat, I've got these two incredible brands. And then we built a business around that. So at first it was kind of glorified contracting. And over time we put in the systems, recruited really great talent, and built an agency.
Yep. So you said that was roughly 10-ish years ago.
2015. So we're not, we're at 8.
Close enough. I'll round up. That's awesome. And so it sounds like you were there from kind of the very beginning. And so tell us, I guess, what I know you mentioned a little bit on like why you left and kind of started, but tell us more on maybe the origin story. Like, what were some of the things that like Twilio and Zendesk were, I don't know, looking for that they weren't necessarily able to get from maybe some others in the market? Like, what were some of the problems that they experienced that you saw that you're like, hey, like me and maybe some others are in a good position to solve for this?
Totally. I think at the beginning, and one of the first things that even prospects today will look for is technical aptitude. So that's a place that we've invested a lot in. We have really incredible talent across the business stack. So whether that's marketing automation platforms or marketing tools, all the way into your Salesforce and your sales stack and your CS stack. And we're looking for specialists in that space so that we can provide really great solutions. Things that our clients really like is, you ask me a question, can a tool do X? And I can answer that question, right? That's kind of at the baseline of our services. And then on top of that has been a lot of the methodologies that we've come up with RevOps. And everybody listening to this call is a RevOps professional, but it's not always tools, right? You can be very good at the tools. How do you up level, whether it's process experience and points of view, or whether it's really going after the team structure, or really down to the people level. So we've layered on not only methodologies, but also we've got senior folks that can help tackle those kinds of problems. And then on top of that, I think it's we've seen it before, right? So it's our ability to say, okay, you've got this kind of problem. We've solved it at 3 other companies, or be able to look ahead. Maybe you're a Series B company thinking about, the next couple of years, IPO. We can come in and say, okay, these are the problems that you're going to have. So it's a mix of those things, whether it's technical aptitude, experience, or our RevOps frameworks that I think have made it easy to pick GoNimbly.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so for folks who, are out there kind of listening, kind of reading the summary from this, what are, like sticking with this theme of, I guess, problems, like what are some things that like folks in RevOps might be experiencing today where, GoNimbly, has a solution kind of value to deliver. And also it sounds like, you primarily work with a lot of kind of B2B SaaS companies as well. So I'm not sure if that's call it a prerequisite or a requirement, but yeah, what are some of those kind of problems? What does a typical like good fit, kind of customer look like for you?
Yeah, so I'll address the last question first and then go to the problems. So first, we do work with primarily high growth companies and B2B. We have done some hybrid, companies that have maybe 2 marketplaces or a B2B and a B2C model. SunPower was one of my first customers a while back, where they sell solar panels both to businesses and consumers. We're flexible with that. But if you're a pure B2C company, quite frankly, we're not going to know your problems as well. We're not going to be as fast, and I'll likely tell you to look elsewhere. And then we're very good at SaaS, but also any other company that's got high growth. So we understand that that model and that type of need. And I would say a couple of areas of like deep expertise, we've really doubled down on PLG and PLS. And so companies that have a very strong product-led growth motion, and that you're really needing to nail your product-led sales motion, that's work that we've done. Intercom is a recent client where we're rehauling their entire tech stack and their entire systems infrastructure in order to manage a product-led sales motion. So that's really where, if you come to me with those kinds of problems, I'm going to be like, yes, I know that I'm a really, really fabulous partner for you.
Yep.
When it comes to, problems that we solve, I'll put them in 2 categories. The first I'll say is maybe kind of your RevOps OS, your operating system as a team will help you solve those things. So a couple of basic examples. Maybe it's your intake process. Maybe it's coming from 10 different places. You're managing, cases from Slack and some folks over email and et cetera. So streamlining something like that would be a very one of the first projects I would do to someone that might be feeling like they're in firefighting mode. So figuring out an intake process for cases, and maybe an intake process for projects, and the governance structure for who should be in those meetings, how do you run them, kind of helping with that process. Same thing, another example in that category I would say is road mapping. Maybe you're feeling like you're not planning more than a quarter ahead. How do we come in and help you create the structure of, all right, what's the next big inflection point? What are the things that are must-haves? How do we deal with incoming, mid-cycle requests, and putting that process together? So, or reorging is another example. We've done a lot of, hey, we've had to lay off folks. How do we restructure? Or the opposite, we're hiring a lot. Where should I hire? What kind of skill sets I've got? And I kind of think about that as, the work behind the work. How are we structured, et cetera. So we have consulting agreements around that. And then there's the work, which is what's the innovation. If we think about our entire tech stack and process, et cetera, if we think that as an internal product that we've got, how do we build and iterate on that? And so we'll do the work. That's where we get kind of our hands dirty all the way from solutioning to execution. I think some examples of that, I'll go top of funnel. So we need to implement scoring and routing and handoff process. Or you're thinking about moving from a lead and contact model to a contact only model. So implementing the tools to auto convert and get that going. Or maybe you are implementing a sequencing process for your SDRs, and you need help not only with the content, but also implementing that and enabling the whole team. Farther down the funnel, it might be opportunity management. We've walked into companies that have just one opportunity type across the business, and we got to go in and create record types and automation and automate renewal creation and things like that. All the way to CS, maybe there's a lack of handoff process from the AE to the CSM, and we want to tighten that up so that it's much easier. Or our renewal, whoever's managing renewals, say account managers, don't have insight into usage metrics that would tell us whether or not there's a churn risk. So implementing an integration between product and Salesforce to push usage to then create signals and insights for that team, or even automatically create expansion opportunities, all that kind of work is core to what we do. Hope that was a good amount of examples that make it less ambiguous.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So if, so it sounds like if I am, kind of in RevOps at a high growth company experiencing, I think the way you put it was kind of RevOps OS related challenges, right? Where I've got requests coming from all over the place. I don't necessarily have a process for how I intake those, how I manage those, how I roadmap or game plan. I basically am just like very reactive. That's one area. And then also when it comes to, like you said, rolling up the sleeves and doing the work, if I need help to execute on any of those projects or deliverables, that you all can kind of come in as well. And so is there, I know you mentioned a little bit on like company characteristics with, again, high growth companies, a lot of B2B SaaS, but not a hard and fast requirement.
Sure.
Is there any I'll say like characteristics on like, I'm thinking of, again, some of the stuff you mentioned, like how big is a RevOps team? Like, are you typically dealing with folks who are like teams of one, teams of two, right? Like, pretty small. Are these larger teams everywhere in between? Give me the safe answer and say it depends. What's the, just thinking about like what the RevOps crew looks like at some of these companies. What is that like?
Yeah. So the answer is not, it depends. It's yes to all of it. And so I would say that it really comes down to your company strategy and how are you investing in RevOps. And there are two, I would call it two buckets of scenarios I would kind of think about it in, and both are valid. This is something that I really believe in. It's a kind of a systems thinking framework, which is every system has its downfall. You sometimes just have to commit and mitigate. And I gave the example of the lead and contact model or contact only model. Both systems can work for all companies. It's just one might be better than the other, or one might have different drawbacks and you have to fix it. So these two are company strategies I've seen at every size. One of them is I want to build out my team. So I really want to invest in headcount and build a large RevOps organization. The pros, right? You have it internal. It's typically less by the hour if you have internal employees, might culturally be a good fit. The con is you have to hire specialists, which can be expensive. And also you might not need them full time. There's less flexibility. There's, benefits. There's the added need to have one-on-ones and to manage those folks, et cetera. Then there's the other scenario, which is, all right, I'm going to keep my team really lean and typically strategists. So I'm typically going to hire folks that are very good operators who have very good business knowledge. And I want them very deeply embedded into my, business process. And then I'm going to hire a partner and essentially outsource the technical solutioning and the execution and maybe some advisory and do that. We have clients in both buckets. In the one where they build out their own, typically we're doing more project-based work, where it's like, hey, we got this big project, we got to spike with you, or a specific specialist that they don't want to hire, but they're building internally their own capabilities. And in the other scenario, we're typically doing more of a managed service, and they're saying, hey, look, we need a resource and a half. We want flexibility in these ways, and we're working with you. Again, both are valid approaches. I think that they're pros and cons to either one, but that's how we fit into both.
Yep. And that makes sense. And you mentioned a little bit on, I guess, kind of project-based work versus like managed
Yeah.
services. And so, yeah, maybe get into how you work with your customers a little bit, because I know I've talked to
Yeah.
some folks in kind of the RevOps services world, and they're like, hey, we only do retainer-based work. You've got to sign a minimum of 12-month
Right.
commitment. We don't do any project-based work. Other people are like, oh, we only do project-based work. We'll scope it out, pay by the hour. Other people do both or are somewhere in between. So when it comes to yeah, like again, a lot of
Yeah.
those problems that you mentioned and how you kind of solve for them, how do you typically partner or work with your customers?
Yeah. So we've got an ethos at Go Nimbly that I actually stole from Blue Wolf, which is to be customer obsessed. So our big thing is we want to be as flexible and as consumable and try to match what our customers need, like above everything else. We're small enough where we can, be nimble and can treat clients in different ways. And we don't have to, kind of fit you into our mold. So with that said, there's a lot of flexibility and a lot of ways that you can interact with us. From a managed service perspective, we do ask for a 3-month commitment. So we are trying to go less than what most is. And we will admittedly give pretty good price breaks at 6 months and 12 months. For a services company, knowing that you've got a long-term contract's the easiest way to keep costs down because you know how to staff people over time. And so we definitely want that. That being said, we've done a lot with customers where they've signed up for 3 months and then they've done the annual renewal after testing us out, and we'll basically retroactively give them a discount if they need a test before they buy. So again, that's like kind of that customer obsessed mindset that we've got. From a project perspective, we'll do project proposals with you, depending on the size of the project. We typically won't do anything that's, hey, can you fix one works, flow, or it's too much work. As we all know, it's too much work for me to run a sales cycle for $5,000. So for projects, we are looking for those heavy ones. A couple of examples: we've got an insurance tech company we're working with right now who didn't have a customer tech stack at all. They basically built everything internally, and we're implementing Salesforce and a data warehouse and a marketing automation platform and doing the whole thing. So like, yes, we'll do a big project for that. It's almost a year long. Or we'll do a one-off dedupe project for a large, we have a large SaaS company that we're doing this with, where we're coming in, defining the account hierarchy, doing all of the cleanup and making sure that the data is really healthy. And that we did also as a project. And sometimes we'll merge the two. So you might have a managed service and all of a sudden you have, I don't know, you want to bring your marketplace team into Salesforce. They've been working off of spreadsheets, and we'll implement like a partner portal, a new record type and all that kind of work. And we'll spike your existing, relationship with us. And so there's a bit of a mix. We try to really match the style that you have. I will tell you whether it's best to say, hey, let me give you an admin at 20 hours a week. It sounds like you've got a lot of small cases. They're fine. That's the cheapest route. Or, wow, you need a lot of different skill sets and flexibility. Let me build you a team. And so it really is trying to match what's going to work best for the problems you've got.
Yeah, that's great. And so and I guess in both of those cases, whether you're doing kind of project-based work or again longer term kind of managed services work, how do you I guess like how do you work with your partners? Meaning, do you y'all set up shared Slack channels? Do you get embedded into like their day-to-day? Like, what's the relationship, the working relationship, I guess, kind of look like, and how do you work together with people in that sense?
Totally. So yes, connected Slack channels. If you're a larger company, they'll typically bring us into their, like we have a contractor email and contractor tools and access to everything. And we're really embedded in your team and your experience. And we want to do that. We want to feel like an extension of your team. Other ways that we, there's a couple of ways in like the how of what we work that I think makes it a really nice experience to work with us. One, we try to think about status calls, which can sometimes be like an eye roll. Like, I don't really want to find out that this is the status and this is how many hours, et cetera. We really try to make those working sessions. And it's like, hey, this is a topic that if we spend 30 minutes on, we'll push really quickly and do all of our hour updates and things like that async, because we don't need, a 5-person meeting to do,
Yeah.
updates that can be done async. So we try to lean on that. We've also really invested in technical tools for our team. We have, for example, it's one of our customers, but also I'm a fangirl of Clockwise. So Clockwise is a tool that helps move calendar invites on your calendar to create the most focus time for you, because the biggest issue that you have is, how am I supposed to do very good work for my clients if I've got 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off all day? So it moves things around so that people have 2.5 hours to 4 hours of focus time a day. And it will move internal meetings around. You'll wake up and your meetings will be all moved, but at the best of the ability of your team. Because one of the reasons why I think we get work done faster and higher quality is because we invest a lot in teaching our team the value of focus and the relationship that you have with work. So you can't do great work in tiny chunks. You need to get into that flow state. So we try to really push that with our customers too, of like, no, we're going to, meet in a really thoughtful way and create a lot of space for us to do deep work. And then we try to adhere to the processes and policies and experience that our clients have. So you probably have deployment cadences, and maybe you are a company that works in agile, or I find actually that companies reflect their product a lot. So as a company like Twilio is going to be very developer first and going to have a lot of innovation and willingness to take risks. A company like Zendesk, that's all about customer success, really cares about outbound communication and cares about that part of their team. So we'll, again, really think about your team structure and adhere to it as well.
Yeah, that's great. And you might have, kind of hit on this already, but what, so if we've gone, let's say I'm in RevOps at a high growth company, hearing, some of the things you mentioned, like, yeah, I've got those problems, I need help. What's like the main thing, or I guess try to keep it to one thing that differentiates you from like other folks in the space, or just like, not leveraging like a services provider at all? Like, what's the secret sauce, the big differentiator that sets Go Nimbly apart?
Yeah. So other than all the things that I've mentioned, I would tack on that we've done a lot of emphasis and a lot of investment around technical architecture. So out of any company our size in kind of the RevOps agency space, we have the most architects. And these are folks that now are not only solution architects, but also technical architects, and can really think about how multiple products integrate, can deal with complex projects like, how do I manage my self-serve? Do I create opportunities in Salesforce or not? How do I integrate that with NetSuite? How do I make sure that I'm, reporting on revenue recognition in a really smart way? All those really tough problems we've invested in very senior architects. They have 8+ years of experience. And I think that really sets us apart, because we're thinking about long-term complex systems and making sure that they're really thorough. And the way that we've made that affordable is we've also done a really big investment in Latin America. So we have a good chunk of our team in Latin America, and that keeps us same time zone. And it's been really, really fruitful. We've got really incredible technical teammates down there. So we have a mix of US and Latin America, which lets us do a really nice rate for our clients.
Yeah, that's great. And yeah, makes a lot of sense. And so as we like I said, as we kind of wrap up here, so what are you talked about the things that differentiates you, stuff that sets you apart. If folks are interested in chatting, learning more, kind of seeing if there's a fit between Go Nimbly and themselves, what's the best way for people to either kind of reach out or get in touch?
Totally. Well, I'm on LinkedIn, pretty active on there. So Jen at Gartwa, you are more than welcome to DM me, and I'll chat with you there. Jen at GoNimbly.com. You might get stuck with my gated email, but by all means say that you know me and it'll get through. And happy to chat. The thing about buying services is, I fully know that there's like a skepticism, right? You hop on a call with me, you're worried, are they going to blow up our problem to make it seem more expensive, or do they really understand, or how, maybe you're actually in the middle of a big fire. It's very stressful. Your team is struggling. And so I really try to stay very curious if we're chatting, really open. If I'm not the right partner, I'll tell you, I'll point you in the right way. And if I can solve a problem for you right there on the phone, I will. So happy to take a call. If it's the right fit, amazing. I would love to work with, amazing revenue operators. And I think the people in your community are investing in themselves. And I think that is always good to have customers with growth mindsets and wanting to get better.
Yep. And I can, I'll say, kind of vouch for the, I'll say the desire to help and the genuineness on that side. I think I've seen it before from you and from others on your team that, and yeah, that is very, that is very real, that you keep it real and you do tell
Appreciate
people
that
when they are not a good fit, or you guide them into the, down the right path. Because I think ultimately, like you said, at the end of the day, you all just want to help. And if that means that someone else is a better fit to provide that help to you, then what you're going to do to make sure they get what they need.
100%.
So awesome. Well, Jen, thank you very much for kind of walking us through the all the way from the origin story of kind of Go Nimbly and kind of first getting started to where y'all are at today, and team, the problems that you solved for was very it was very great to hear. And so thank you very much. Anyone watching, like I said, reach out to Jen over LinkedIn, over email, go to the Go Nimbly website. I think Jen and others on the Go Nimbly team are also in RevOps Co-op Slack, so you can reach there. No shortage of places where you can kind of get in touch with Jen. And yeah, reach out, ask questions, see if they can help, because they would definitely be a great partner. With that, I will let you all run. So thank you for giving us the lowdown and kind of walking us through everything, Jen. And thank you everyone out there for kind of listening and tuning in as well. I will see you all later.